So Europe, and it's all prime and glory, it had a time that's known and taught called the Dark Periods.
Dark Ages. When
something's in the dark, that means it's unknown.
Why?
That means you don't know. So what year is it? 2016. We counted what the Greeks counted in their Greek history. We counted what the Romans counted in their Rome. But once the Europeans got into a position of power, all of a sudden everything went dark.
How long did the Dark Ages really last?
Till the Renaissance, the birth of re-enlightenment. What?
The Renaissance. I know about the Renaissance. I've heard about that. So the Romans were the last bright period where they said the Romans, and we all know and we're told about what the Romans were doing.
Yeah.
Diddling booties, making gymnasiums. The gymnasium, which you send your kids to every single week.
Oh, man.
A Roman thing. The gymnasiums were for the males and the younger males to meet up. So a male can court a younger male.
So now it's where it's a usual male teacher gets to watch your little boys and girls dance around in booty shorts all day.
That's where the Knickerbockers came from. That's another European thing.
So we're marking these European hallmarks in history.
Absolutely, with truth. The Knickerbockers, the New York Knickerbockers basketball team, one of the first basketball teams started, but they wore shorts called Knickerbockers, and these are tiny little booty shorts that men wore.
Okay, so we're going back BC here.
Gymnasium.
BC here.
Gymnasium.
This probably was a skirt in BC. So beside that, we're looking at these hallmarks in the history of civilization, right? But where's ancient Egypt?
Which came way before.
Where's Mesopotamia? Where's ancient Sumer? Where is all the birthing of all culture?
Well, supposedly that's an unknown, I guess, right?
But we have the Greek pantheon, we have the Roman pantheon, but we have ancient wall carvings of entire cultures that are long forgotten. The Dark Ages, nothing existed but Roman butt diddlers and such.
Good.
But then we have the Renaissance, Industrial Revolution, modern day civilization that spawned from nothing but the Romans and the Greeks.
Who say they believed in the Romans and the Greeks?
That's
connected.
Where's 180,000 years of previous human history? Right. That doesn't exist though, because we were in the Dark Ages.
Yeah, apparently that was a race that washed away like
the Europeans
were. Yeah. They were. This is his story. Remember?
Yes.
This is their story. They were. So who brought them out of darkness?
Well, something happened in 711. In 711 A.D. After the death of Caesar Borgia and his idea, the Moors went into Spain, or Hispania. Hispania, it was named after the Romans took it over. And these Moors had something new that the Roman political martyr known as Yeshua or Jesus, or because there wasn't any J in any alphabet that long ago. So there was a man that they sacrificed because he was going around helping the people, supposedly, and that was the start of them blending their religion into something that they wanted to create as a culture. And this started in Rome, Italy. And this was a European idea. So to fight off the Moors, which were an idea of nomadic people from northern Africa that came across the Sahara from India, western, they traveled this way into Africa, and they ran into people on the other side of the water, which were southern Europeans. Italians and Europeans are different. Italians are Africans. Europeans and Italians mixed, just like Europeans mixed with the Arabs, just like Europeans mixed with every continent that they conquered and made half-breed Europeans. But they had history. It's just his story. And they had dark ages. And they call these dark ages dark because they had no culture coming out of Europe. But yet they had kings and queens. And they lie and say that they had knights with suits of armor, but yet they couldn't read and they couldn't write. And they were mating with their animals.
So why were they scrambling for Africa?
Why scramble back south? That's just human nature to travel. There was nothing for you to live for, so you start walking around aimlessly. There's a line. They walked directly south because that's where the land was. They must have went north and realized it's water. Go back south. So they went right back down into the heart of Africa and collected culture. And by the time they got back down into Africa, culture from 180,000 years worth of development was rebirthed right back in Africa. These are the dark ages that they're trying to hide from you. It's all African that they were collecting. And the Renaissance was the rebirth of African culture in the European world. So look up the Renaissance and look at the African influence on all of the Renaissance art. The Renaissance artists were people like Michelangelo, Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, those guys. Those are the Renaissance people. Every idea they have, they got from the schools that they went to in Africa. The European scholars literally went to schools in Africa. Timbuktu. Europeans went to school there in the Dark Ages. All of the Romans and the Greeks went to school in Africa. That's where they got all their information
The ancient
from.
mystery schools?
All of those mysteries were in the heart of the Dark Continent. Because that's where all of the culture was. School wasn't something to teach you about educating you. You were only learning about the culture of the people that survived before you.
So did modern civilization really rise from nothing?
Well, did modern civilization really have a dark ages? The whole modern civilization as a whole is all dark. The existence of any civilization on the planet is darkness. It came from darkness.
There's not one other continent on this map. Not one. That has a connection going outwardly to every single other continent. Except Africa.
But every other continent was affected by it.
Every
and
single
connected
one.
to it.
But there's only one other continent that has ties to everywhere else as well.
And has no personal wealth. No material gain coming out of the land. Just people. And these people who have no...
Just ideas.
Their physical bodies are not even human resource enough. They're half-dead batteries. They can't even work in the field as much as the African can.